Hello, and welcome to the show. So today we'll be basically talking about the new league, the new season starting. Who's going to win it? Who do you think will win the Golden Boot? And all that good stuff. So lots of teams have done a lot of incredible work in terms of signings, and especially with Sesko more or less heading to Manchester United, despite Newcastle United making a better offer to him. So prefers Manchester United. I'm sure Manchester United are very happy with that one. I know right now they'll be going on about how they have amazing pool. So that's beautiful for them. But is that sufficient to bring them back into the top four? They already have Cunha, they've got Mbuemo. Is that sufficient? They have Bruno Fernandez in midfield, and then maybe Mason Mount. Do they still need more bodies? And then as well for Chelsea, done a lot of signings as well. João Pedro, Estevao Willian, you know, up here yesterday in training. So okay, so yep.
Hello.
Yeah. Hello. Nice to have you on here, Frank.
Happy, happy to be here.
It's been a while. So, quickly before we start talking about predictions about who will win, who has a better team, I know you're you're excited about your Liverpool, but what do you make of the signing? Manchester United, not yet confirmed, but it seems they're going to get Sesko. So, you think it's a difference maker for them?
Potentially, he's a player that has got potential, but he hasn't quite hit the height just yet.
Okay,
Um, I was watching a video earlier, and he was saying Ibrahimovic
idol.
is his idol. So, and Ibrahimovic played for United. So, I wonder if that influenced him, or perhaps his paycheck. I'm sure Manu would have paid better than Newcastle. And Man United, regardless of their performance last season, is still regarded as one of the best clubs in football. So I can see the draw and the pull from United is one that will take some time because it's a new league. The team, United team as it is, it's not yet stable. They're still figuring out the best way to play. So um, I think he will do well, but he might not hit the ground running from the get go because they still need to sign a few players. The midfield for United is not balanced, and I think finding that balance might not be. It might take a few games
Yeah.
to get going. But yeah, he's definitely going to be a good signing and one to watch
Oh,
for the
okay.
future. Yeah.
Yeah.
But having said that,
Mm-hmm.
the big question as a Liverpool fan is that what happens to the Isak deal? Is that linked to the Isak deal? Can we still get Isak regardless of the situation happening at Newcastle? Because they've been struggling to sign any players. But I'll keep a close eye on that situation. But definitely want to watch out for because it would be a difference maker if Isak finally comes to
Yeah.
Liverpool. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
An interesting take. I have one question to ask about Manchester United, but
yes.
Charles, I was just speaking with Frank. We're just talking about how Sesko may need time to adjust to Manchester United and all that. So, do you see him as a difference maker for Manchester United? Given the fact that for me it's a bit weird how Newcastle United and Manchester United are also interested in signing what's his face, Sesko. And he just got 14 goals last season, and the previous season was about 13 or 14 goals as well. So overall, do you see him as that guy, to bring Manchester United back to their glory days?
Okay, well, first of all, I want to thank you for bringing me up to the show.
Yeah.
I want to say straightforward that sincerely, I don't see that he's as good as Sesko is, but he's going to struggle.
Okay.
We had discussed about Manchester United.
Hmm.
The team itself, I just think there's a problem that they have not solved. It's not about Sesko.
Mhm.
Sabasescu, the team as itself, the setup, that team. There's something about it that needs to be looked at. But I wish him the best, but I don't see him as a difference maker.
Okay.
I don't see that.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Fair enough. So, do I know Liverpool now you're afraid because your Isak, your super team, your dream of having a super team is about to be, to be destroyed. But I hear that what's his face now? That Newcastle United are interested in Jackson. I don't know how true that is. And then when they're talking about if I was just thinking to myself, if you're interested in that profile of striker, in that profile of 6'5", 6'6", giant of a striker that can be a huge presence in the box, maybe run the channels as well. I was just thinking, how about you leave the obvious supermarkets that you guys shop in, and go to maybe a Belgium. Maybe this is my Nigerian heart I'm using to speak, but Tolu Arokodare is there, 6'6". He scored more goals than Sesko, about 21 goals, 5 assists, 6 assists. So that's 27 goal contributions. So even more than the Sesko himself. And so whether they should consider looking at Tolu Arokodare instead of dying on the heel of Sesko, because right now he's going to end up with Manchester United. That's just the truth. And then let's even ask this question now. We're talking about predictions. If you get your Liverpool now, you have your Eketike already. You have your Salah, of course, the boss man that can score 25 goals in his sleep. You've got your what's his face now? You've got your Van Dijk, of course. You've got your Vets, the most expensive signing in Premier League history. Then you get your Isak. Are you saying 100% you're winning the league? It's not even close.
Well, without being big-headed, it will be very difficult for you to challenge that because we just won the league title, and we didn't just rest on our laurels. We went out and we have strengthened in several positions. You
Okay.
might argue Yogo Ekitike is new to the league; he will adjust. But if we sign Isak, he's a proven striker
Mm-hmm.
in the Premier League, so you are guaranteed goals.
Okay.
And with Verts, I'm not concerned with him adjusting. With what I've seen in preseason, he's 2 seconds ahead, 2 steps ahead of everyone else with his gameplay. He's the German football team star. You
Okay.
could argue that Musiala is there, but in Bundesliga, he consistently performed over the last 2 seasons. So it will be very difficult for you to argue that Liverpool would not retain the title because
Okay.
with all these players, certainly you could see them performing well. Obviously, if injuries occur to key players, then that always have an impact to the team. But having said that, it's going to be a very interesting title challenge because Arsenal, they've strengthened.
Mm-hmm.
While I don't think they've strengthened or they've not brought players that will take them to the next level, they have strengthened in depth because they've not. So if you sign Isak, that's a step up to the players we've gotten, and no disrespect to Nunes. So you could see that there's a step up. When Arsenal signed Declan Rice, you could see that step up in the team.
Mm-hmm.
But frankly speaking, the players they've brought in are good players for depth, but I'm not sure I'm afraid of Arsenal.
So you're
In
not afraid of
terms,
54 goals a season striker? Okay.
no, because he did that in the Portuguese league.
Mm-hmm.
If painfully, if I compare that to Nunes hasn't quite lived up to the expectation at Liverpool. I'm not saying Gyökeres would not score goals because Arsenal they retain the ball, but I was watching the highlights of Gyökeres and how he was playing in Portugal. They had a lot of counter attacks. He was always running with the ball.
Mm-hmm.
He's quite strong and physical. But Arsenal, they don't play that style of football. So they're always passing the ball around. So the question is he smart enough, to stand on the shoulders of the defenders and run between the lines
Okay.
and score those goals? Because we had that with Nunes, and he was always bloody offside because he couldn't just take one step back. But yes, and I wouldn't write off Manchester City, to be honest,
Okay.
because they will definitely come back with the signings they've done. So this one to watch out for. Pep, you cannot underestimate Pep. But yeah, my answer is that we are retaining the league back to back.
Also back to back. Okay, I know Charles is eager to come in and defend his man. For some reason, the way he loves his hair now, this Victor Osimhen, he's even gelling up his hair. But I just want to throw one point back at you because, like, you say Portuguese league, but before he went to the Portuguese league, he went to the championship and he scored tons of goals there, helped them push towards the playoff run before he left. And then when they even lost to Manchester United in that cup game, was even on penalties, I think. So, and people argue, a lot of people argue that the championship is like the 6th or 7th best league in the world and all that. So don't you think that's already made him used to Premier League football? That's one side of it. And then the last part of it is that in the Premier League, when we used to have Bolton, Stoke City, those teams, they'll be tough. If you beat them, even if you beat them, the next game you're so shattered, you may not even be able to get a result the next game. But now, teams newly promoted, Burnley, want to play from the back, want to play high line. So, don't you think in this new Premier League, he would be able to thrive? So maybe Charles, you go first, and then come back to Frank.
Yeah.
All right. I just want to say first of all that I know Liverpool have really strengthened their team. They are champions of England. They did that in style last season. I'm also going ahead to bring in more players to defend their title and possibly win it back to back, as my friend Frank just said. Or be sure that Arsenal is going to mount a bigger challenge to Liverpool this season. We had a problem last season, which we have identified, and we have brought in a player who has proven himself in that position. He's a talk of Europe as he speaks, and by the grace of God, he's in Arsenal team. And be sure that Arsenal is going to, the game plan will be to make sure that they supply the ball to Jokeres so that he can score. If you watch the game plan of Sporting, it's about get the ball to Jokeres and he will score. And that's why he scored those goals he scored.
Okay.
So just be rest assured that Arsenal is going to mount a challenge, a serious challenge, better than what they did last season. Jokeres is not going to struggle. He's going to play tonight. In the next 2 hours, thereabout, he should be on the pitch with Villarreal. You watch him.
I haven't.
The few minutes he played the last game, you see.
Let's see.
So I want to ask regarding your.
So I want to tell you that this season is not going to be easy.
I want to ask about your
your
preseason. I haven't watched any of. I didn't watch the last game where I believe he played some part. What was your front line? Because I'm struggling to think what would your 4 attacking players be. Will Havertz go to the bench for Jokeres, or is Havertz still playing with Jokeres as the 9, Saka, Martinelli, or the boy from Chelsea? What's his name? Madueke. Yeah. So what do you think your front line will be with the introduction of Jokeres?
All right, thank you. Jokeres, looking at his profile and the way he came into the team, you know that the plan is for him to be a starter. He's going to be the number 9. On the right, you have Saka. On the left, that's where I know that Arsenal see I'm not too certain about who starts on the left. But the midfield three, Odegaard, Rice, and Zubimendi. Havertz is going to come in. Some games he will start. They're going to rotate this players. So fatigue does not
Okay.
come in. Havertz is good. He has delivered for Arsenal on
Yes.
several occasions. So it's not going to be like they're throwing him off. No. But the plan right now is
Okay.
Gyökeres. The fans are all yelling for Gyökeres. So that's the game plan for now. It's Gyökeres up front. He's going to be rotation. They're going to rotate
Okay.
him with Havertz. When Jesus is fit, he comes. He's good too on the flank. He can also play up front. There are games to play. So many tournaments.
Okay.
So you're going to see these
All right.
players
So
showcase
now
themselves.
just from the outside looking in, or maybe I'm would I say old school in my way of thinking. I don't Kai Havertz. I don't see him as a nine, and I think that's one area where Lampard, Chelsea legend, respect him, love him, but I see him as someone who's not really a good coach. As he played, he was one that started this Kai Havertz as a striker type of thing when it was essentially meant to be at most a 10 or an 8 behind the striker, link up and all that. But what has happened, and now everyone are just taking him to be a striker, and he's struggling there. Cause can you imagine a midfielder like Kai Havertz scoring like 10, 14 goals and maybe 5 assists? That would be seen as brilliant from midfield. But as a striker, you score 14 goals. It's like you're not even started. You're trying, but you're not up there. That's how we look at Jackson. He scored 14 goals or thereabouts. Sesko as well. I'm talking about scored like 14 goals. When the striker scores 14 goals, especially for a team like Arsenal or Liverpool, that you absolutely dominate games. You have the ball. You play more. Except you're playing another top 6 side or traditional top 4 side. The You have most of the ball. You create most of the chances in those games. So I want to ask Frank. I want to ask you a question. This question is for
Yes.
you because you guys are the super team, mega team. You destroy everybody. Everyone out of the water. You have an unfair team. So I want to ask, if you don't win this league title, so and it's lot goodbye, because it doesn't have to use a super team.
No, we don't operate in that model.
Oh,
We are not impatient like other football clubs. Chelsea as an example.
okay.
We,
I
we,
hear you. So if you give your
we-
friend now, you give him Ferrari, he says I'm a master driver, I know how to drive supercars. You give him your Ferrari and he drives into the wall. You say, oh no, fine, good pictures. That's nice of you.
so at the beginning of each season, looking at the setup of the team,
Mm-hmm.
my target would be minimum 2 trophies.
Okay.
Now, if I want to be very selfish, I would say Champions League and the Premier League
Mm-hmm.
because
That's
those are up there. Yeah, but you have to consider that other teams have strengthened as well.
mm-hmm.
Um, and the league, it's not just played in 5 or 10 games. It's a very long season, so anything can happen. So I wouldn't consider that um, a failure,
Mm-hmm.
but I expect that there will be some form of dominance or success within the next 3 years
Okay.
from Slot, because remember this is his time for rebuilding the team. Last season he inherited the team from Klopp, so he needs time to build the team. Ateta had 5 years going now, and he's still
Mm-hmm.
building his team, and they've had patience with him. So I don't think, off the back of winning the league last season, if we don't win it this season, he'll be sacked, because it's a long-term project and we'll keep on strengthening. Um, but it's a very good question you've asked, and it made me wanted to ask Charles the same question for Ateta, because you've been crying out for a striker and now you have a striker. So is this the year where, if it doesn't work for Arsenal, you have to just shake hands with Ateta and say thank you for what you've done, but I think it's time we part ways? What do
Okay.
you think,
I
Charles?
think network really disturbed me. I didn't get the question clearly. But I think your question you asked is about if Ateta doesn't win anything this season, whether if you will still be in
Yeah.
charge of the team.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Sincerely, sincerely, even though I'm not among the board of directors in Arsenal, but sincerely, if Arteta doesn't win anything this season, just be sure that he'll be sacked. The club has had patience with him. They have done. They try to follow him up, give him all the support he needs to build the team, and he has built it to this level. And the issue was, oh, we need a striker, and that has been given right now. So if he doesn't win anything, be sure that he will be sacked. But I want to take us back a little to Kai Havertz.
Okay.
You know, when Kai Havertz was signed to Arsenal, he was not brought in as a striker. He plays
Yeah.
in the midfield just until Gabriel Jesus had injury and Eddie Nketiah was not performing per
Mhm.
se. They now drafted him into the striker position based on the fact that he has played in that role in Chelsea. And they tried him there. He scored some goals. So he continued playing that role. Even when Gabriel Jesus came back, he played that role, but he was not as effective as we expect a striker to be. So Havertz continued in that role. He was more like a backup, not like he was a striker per se.
Mhm.
If you remember to last season, Merino played as a striker at some
Mhm.
point. Doesn't mean that he's a striker. But be sure, as I said earlier, Gyökeres is here, and I strongly believe that he's going to deliver.
Okay.
Yes, he's good on his feet. Arsenal plays the ball on the ground, so he will receive those balls and he will score.
Okay.
That's all I'm looking at. So Liverpool, man, don't worry. This is it. It's going to be a different season. Don't worry. I can assure you
Oh,
that. I'm confident.
Yeah. That's good. That's fine going. As for me, from a Chelsea perspective, I'm not looking at Chelsea winning the league this season. If it turns out that it sets up that way, and it goes that Chelsea look competitive enough to win the league, then I'll say okay. Yeah, but for me, honestly, it pains me to say I don't think Chelsea can win the league this season because in certain areas, if Chelsea have got like Mike Mignon and Victor Osimhen, I'll say we are going to compete for this league. Jao Pedro is good, but I'm yet to see him, score maybe 20, 25 goals. And no matter what you say, you need a striker that can give you that in your team if you want to win the league title, if you want to come for a league title. And then Robert Sanchez for me, nah, nah. So for my expectations for the season is the best of the rest. On Chelsea from that third position, have winning record against everybody down. That's what I want to see. For me, that's progress for me. And then comfortably, I don't want 2 days, to the end of the season. We are still battling, calculating if Nottingham Forest draws with this team, we'll finish in top four, comfortably be in top four. That's what I'm looking for this season. Estevao William, a lot of people have said, he is the new Neymar and all those kind of things. For me, I just feel like he piped down. I saw Neymar. We also saw Neymar. Neymar was something else at that age, and the way Maresca plays, for me, I feel Estevao William may struggle a bit if he's rushed because when you don't play with your fullbacks overlapping and you play with an inverted winger, what you have is people will crowd him up. I want the crowd him because you look at Estevao William and he looks his age. Let me put it that way because you see some young players who are 16, 17, 18. They look like they're 24 in terms of how they are built. Their face may look young, but in terms of how they are built, you see them that, yeah, this player is still, this player has his man body, but he's a young person. But Stephen William is actually a small boy in a small boy's body. And if you play that kind of way where Maresca wants to invert everybody into midfield, then I just think that he would struggle. And then, of course, yeah, Nicholas Jackson, Newcastle United may be interested in signing him. So let's see how that one goes. So for me, and then for Liverpool, I think their strength will be their weakness. That's what I think. That's what I feel about Liverpool. They have the most exciting front line, and their fullbacks are also exciting. But I think anything that wants to play against Liverpool this season, if you look at them like Barcelona under Pep, under Rijkaard, where the way you attack those Barcelona sides, their fullbacks are always forward. And Frimpong, that's his strength. Attacking force pushing you back and all. But when you attack and push people back, you create that space there. That space is there for any for team that have pace, like Nottingham Forest. If they have two pacey wingers, you create that space there. Keke is a better defender than Frimpong, but he's still in a similar mode of I will overlap, I will stretch play and all that, so that Salah can invert into can cut in on his left foot and shoot or cross or this type of thing. And of course, Vets will be in his 10 role. So I think to play against Liverpool, you have to use their strengths against them. That's why I see it, and that's how I think you can hurt this Liverpool side.
That's fair enough, but
Okay.
don't you think Slot knows that? And there will be some measure of control of when to push and when not to push.
Yeah.
The in the friendly game against AC Milan, it
Mhm.
was obvious that they haven't quite understood the assignment
Okay.
because they were just
Mhm.
flying forward and they left the defense open. And after the game, Slot wasn't happy with the defensive performance.
Yeah.
So I think it's one where he would need to tell them to
To
push at some point and relax
yeah.
because you what you've said, you're right. Teams will sit and rely on counter attack. But it makes for an exciting Premier League watching with
Yeah.
how
So I mean, what I want to even say is that you guys are kind of lucky. This might seem weird for the Liverpool fans to say because what I'm about to speak about now is your legend, give you your first league title in how many years, give you your, Champions League title in how many years. But I think you guys will be a bit better in terms of managing this attacking lineup under Klopp, Slot than Klopp. Because Klopp, is heavy metal football, go forward, press, squeeze the opponent in their own half, don't allow them come out at all. That he wasn't really pragmatic. His own was let's go, let's squeeze everybody, in their own half. And with this sort of team, I think he would have even, be even more aggressive, doing that. But one question I'll ask, and then I'll see what else have to say about that as well, is you get Ketike. I know a lot of people want to say he will play wide. He's not really a winger. He's not. And of course, I want to talk about a former Arsenal striker, Thierry Henry. They're not in the same class. Ketike has a lot to even prove to get to be mentioned in the same sentence, but they're kind of similar in a way that they always will go out to that left side and cut into their strong foot, and all that. But they're not wingers. Henry always knew that he was the nine. Eketike at Frankfurt knew that he was the nine. So do you think that they'll be comfortable? Because once you sign Isak is going to play central. So will be comfortable being pushed out wide, or would it be a bench option for 95 million euros?
no, I think the key change you would see with Liverpool this
Mm,
coming season is fluid play.
mm,
All the attackers changing. I don't think we are going to compromise anyone's position because even Isak that you do mention in Newcastle, he drifts to the left
mm-hmm,
and he comes in. So um, how I see it is that we are basically trying to model PSG of last season of
mm-hmm,
the front three where they keep on changing position. There will be games where Ekatike might have to play wide
mm,
or might even be on the bench and we have Gapo because the interesting thing with this is that people are not giving Gapo the respect he deserves because he's like he's someone that's not even spoken about. But he did perform well last season. He improved, with competition with Luis Diaz. So, and like Charles said earlier, it's a lot of games you wouldn't expect all to play. He's still a young striker, so you wouldn't want to put too much pressure on him to always want to deliver playing out of position. So I think they'll play together in some games
mm-hmm.
and in some other games, perhaps Isak. It depends on the opponent. I'm actually very interested to see how Klopp manages all the team.
Yeah.
pardon. Slot has more control compared to Klopp, like you were mentioning earlier.
Yeah.
However, as a Liverpool fan, Klopp will keep you at the edge of your seat because there's always something, because he's always bumping and the players are always doing something towards the end of the game. But for peace of mind, I like Slot's control,
Mm-hmm.
because if we are winning the game, let's control the game. So it's going to be an interesting front line. One thing though that I'm keen to see, or it would eventually happen, will be when Salah goes for the AFCON. You
Mm-hmm.
know, how that front line would be. Obviously, you've got Frimpong that plays right wing, so he can slot in there. And the way football has changed is no one actually thinks of bringing the right-footed winger on the
Mm-hmm. To be
left to
orthodox.
the right. So it's all forgotten about. So why can't Gapo play there and
Mm-hmm.
Eketike play left, or vice versa?
Yeah.
So yeah, it'll be interesting. But it's good to have what I call a good problem for the manager. Selection headache. It's
Okay.
better he has that than having mediocre players on the bench.
On the bench.
So I've never been this excited in the transfer window for Liverpool and the start of the season. I'm set. I'm ready. Game on,
No,
bring it
plenty
on.
sugar causes. Okay, Charles,
Uh,
what do
I
you
want
think?
to say, yes, I want to say something about Liverpool. Looking at the players they've brought in,
Mm-hmm.
they are going to want to attack, press the opponent, push them back. And there's something about that kind of football. You will get carried away at some
Mm-hmm.
point. You'll be like, oh, we can kill these people. I remember Chelsea Barcelona, that Champions League game, to the point that Gerard Piqué and Puyol, they
Mm-hmm.
are at the center of the pitch as center backs. He took one pass, just one pass,
Yeah.
and that game ended. Just one pass. He broke them down. So if you play that kind of football, be sure at some point you'll be carried away. No matter the instruction your coach has given to you, don't worry. You will just be carried away. Even the coach forgets that he has told you to stay back. You will enjoy the game to the point that you do like leave them, we finish them already. Then that second, bam, to change. So I'm not saying it's going to happen, but I'm saying watch out for it. It's something
No,
you might see.
I have
Yes.
two things to say about what you just said.
All right.
Now, first will be kind of maybe how Liverpool can survive that, and then the other teams. I think one team I know will give Liverpool trouble, and they may not seem a fancy team, but they will give Liverpool trouble, and that is Nottingham Forest. They will give Liverpool trouble because their coach, he doesn't care about, oh, I want to be the sexy football player from the back and all these kind of things. They'll sit back and they will bomb forward. They'll sit back and then hit on the break. Then the other side of things where I think Liverpool may still be super dominant and just blow teams away is because how teams have been affected now. Previously, teams that gain promotion, you know that they're going to be tough. Two banks of four, defend deep, make life difficult for the opponents to break them down, just be horrible to play against. But now, one coach that is didn't coach a team I support, but because of how he caused his team to get relegated, I'd like to employ him, sack him again, employ him, sack him again, employ him and sack him again from the gate. And that's Southampton's coach, Russell Martin. Now, incidentally, he's the coach for Glasgow Rangers. Southampton will pass her from the back, they lose the ball, concede goal. Interviews say our style of football, our philosophy of football. Player from the back, we concede goal. You lose 5-0, you lose 4-0, our style of football. And that's one thing I think, and some suspects that put that will do that this season. Burnley, the Scott Parker, they will do that again. Because most coaches, when they come for championship now, is this new, any coach from that 35 to 46, let's say even 48, 49, they're like that. My philosophy of football. pass from the back. So I think that can be a way Liverpool would, survive. Or what am I saying? Survive will make Liverpool dominant because once a better team, not just Liverpool, whether Arsenal, Chelsea, Manchester United, scores a goal against this lower ranked team, then their whole plan is out of the window. They must open up. So if you're already open from the beginning, and a team like Liverpool bashes you 1 goal or 2 goals in the first 10 minutes, then the doors are open for it to be like 5 or 6 nil. So and then I think Chelsea as well could worry Liverpool. I'm not saying Chelsea will win the league or anything. Could worry Liverpool if Enzo Maresca, because all these coaches that came up from under Pep, they always have their moments of craziness. Like Pep in that Champions League final decided to play without a six. Decided that I'll have my midfield, one of my best players in Rodri is not going to play. He's not going to start. I'll keep him on the bench. And then when you have someone like Kante on the team, on the opposition team. So I think Chelsea too can worry Liverpool in terms of one, you have the pacey players to go in behind. Same thing you did against Chelsea did against PSG. And then I want to talk about something because I've already seen people making this mistake. They're already saying it. Frimpong, no be winger. He likes to attack. He likes to bomb forward. He's not a winger. Roberto Carlos, the grandfather, the godfather of attacking fullbacks, him and Cafu. If you had brought Roberto Carlos and said, okay, start wing, Roberto Carlos would not have been able to make that kind of difference. He would have been decent, but I don't think he would have been a super winger. So the same thing as you, Frimpong. He likes to attack. He can force it. He spends most of the time in the opposition half. But if you say Salah's nation goes to AFCON in December, and then Frimpong is going to be the guy to replace him there, I think I think Liverpool fans, you guys will be in for a real shock. He's good when he's attacking from that fullback, but to be the winger, I don't think.
So
What do you think, Frank?
So I think it would be unfair to expect the same output from Frimpong as Mo Salah playing in that same position.
Or can he even be Can he even be? Of course, because Mo Salah is world class. Is here. You cannot even even a winger, even an actual winger that plays how he plays. You will not really expect that person to. If Salah will score 10 goals in, let's say, 6 games, you will not expect that winger to score 10 goals in 6 games. But what I'm saying, can he even play there?
I believe so because if you've watched him with Netherlands and Bayer Leverkusen, he's got an eye for goals and eye for pass, and he's got pace. So there is potential that he would actually fill that role properly. Obviously, without the same impact of Salah, but we could actually play slightly different with him there and try to. You know what Man City they always do. They try to isolate their away wingers last 2 seasons and keep them as far as possible. So they might want to do that with Frimpong because he's got that pace to cut in. So I think he would actually do well. But obviously, I'm not expecting him to have the same magic as Mo Salah. But I believe he should be able to perform during that period. Yeah.
I've said the same thing about Chelsea, and when I say this, a lot of people say I don't like the manager. But the truth is this: Gusto is a fullback. He's not a midfielder. He's not. He's just Rich James is a fullback, an attack-minded fullback, can pass the ball. His best straight is 1v1 defending and bombing forward and his crosses. He's not a midfielder. He just isn't. Because it's not a matter of power. There's a particular awareness midfielders have. Whether you're 6'7" or you're 4'2", there's an awareness midfielders have. And you don't just bring any person and just toss the person in there and say, play there. And I also think that Chelsea loses out when you play Gusto in midfield. When you play, I think Charles is frozen a bit when it comes to Ademba. Okay, you're back.
Uh,
Okay, you're back. Yeah. So when you play Gusto in midfield, you're robbing the team, my opinion. And what I said about Liverpool applies to Chelsea as well. When you play Gusto there, if I'm the opposing team, I'm not thinking of coming to play through your midfield. Your fullback's in midfield, yeah. What am I doing? I have a pacey winger. What am I doing? Play that long ball before he will run back. He will always be playing catch up. He will always be playing catch up when the long ball comes through. It's when you want to force your way. When as a opposition coach, you want to show your level. Maybe you're a Burnley coach, some land coach. You want to show your arrogance. Well, I brought this team up from championship. It doesn't matter who you are. We will still park on the back. Then you get stuck there. But so I feel what am I saying? So I feel Gusto being played in that midfield, I think could be a problem for Chelsea. And why it upsets me a bit is they've given you 4 actual midfielders. You have 4 actual midfielders that should be playing that role. You know, you've got your Enzo Fernandez, you've got Caicedo, you've got Esugo, you've got Andre Santos, Leslie Gochukwu as result to Burnley. But you have 4 that can actually play that role. You know, so when you're now playing them out of position, you know, I for one, I'm someone that likes dynamism. A player who is dynamic. You know, you can be a fullback, but as the game progresses, you can be forward. But when you just positionally start in a different place altogether, I just feel like it opens up the game. So I want to get your thoughts on this. So predictions, Golden Boot, who is taking that one? Is it Gyökeres? Is it Salah? For me, I'm not even thinking about anything. If João Pedro give me my 16, 17 goals, Liam Delap give me my 14 goals. Jackson, if you stay, give me my 7 to 10 goals. I'm okay. This guy Palmer can come again, touch maybe another 14 goals, 10 assists. I'm good. But who is Golden Boots? Who is taking it? You guys have got Gyökeres. Haaland, maybe. You think Haaland as well? Could be a shout. So Golden Boot, who do you think is nicking it?
you go first, Charles.
It's going to be a tough one. It's going to be a tough one because
Okay.
if the teams play to their strength, to their full potential on paper, as we have seen it, it's going to be a tough one because you still have Haaland, who has delivered on several occasions on that issue. Salah is there. Now we have some new players who are coming for both for the 3 teams I just mentioned.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be a tough one, but it's really tight. I won't say you're correct
Okay. You
because
won't count on your man.
it's just coming
Arsenal
in.
fans says
I want to.
Gyökeres has no
No,
shot
no,
of winning Golden Boot.
no. I will not. I will not. No, I won't say. Yeah, no, not golden boot. But I'm going to tell you that this goes to you. Your current in Arsenal team is going to be a tough one against anybody who plays against Arsenal
These are your
because
diplomatically
you concede goals.
dancing
Don't
around it.
worry.
So are you saying he's not going? He has no chance of winning Golden Boot?
So for now,
Eh?
I think yes. And let me say that if the teams play to their potential, as I said earlier,
Mm-hmm.
um, I'm going to tip Haaland. Why? Because at some point, Salah is going to go for Nations Cup.
Mm-hmm.
If he's going to be there consistent like for the whole season, I will still tell you that Salah will do it because he's a player that can give you a goal every game.
Mm-hmm.
He will give you a goal every game.
Okay.
So,
So
but
Salah.
as it stands this season, I will tip
Okay. So
Haaland
for you, Haaland is the guy for
for
the Golden Boot.
the Golden Boot. That's his personal glory. Haaland.
Okay. So Frank now, Salah, does he have a chance? Does he have a chance? Oh, rather, let me just because you guys are a super team. You got Isak. You guys are like the Avengers now. You got Isak. You got Likitike, Salah, Jakpo. I mean Jakpo. You
No,
have him.
so
So
I would say if we sign Isak,
mhm,
Isak will win the Golden Boot.
okay,
If we don't, I would go with Haaland.
Haaland.
Yes, I believe what Charles has said. You know, those games Salah would miss, would affect his chances
Ah,
of scoring consistent because it's a few games, I think 5 games or so, and the other strikers, if they are in top form, they would score more. So if we sign
mhm.
Isak Golden Boot. If not, it's gonna be Haaland. You can never go wrong putting Haaland up there because
Okay.
the chances of him winning it is high.
Okay, right.
Um, I
Maybe.
think Gyökeres would score goals,
Okay.
but wouldn't be the top scorer. But I think he will score consistently to help the team
Mhm.
because Arsenal, they spread their goals, so he wouldn't. Maybe he might surprise us and just
Just
stomp the
collect
league and
four goals.
yeah, yeah.
The four goals
Yeah.
striker.
What about your prediction? What?
Ah, I've already told you my mind. We're not even golden goal. We're not there. Golden boot. We're not there. And golden boot. I think I'll go with Erling Haaland. I'll go Erling Haaland because everything is made for him to just score goals. And Salah will be going to AFCON. Gyökeres will try to reacclimatize to English football. So I'll go with Haaland to win the golden boot this season. So now let's go into the
One
juicy one.
thing before I know we've all mentioned Haaland, but it'll be interesting to see the impact how they play without Kevin De Bruyne, because who would I know they've signed attacking players that would help, and so it would be good to see how the dynamic of the midfield change,
Change, yeah.
and that might affect his runs because
I think
they
there's
might
one
need some
good
game
thing for
time.
Man City that could be a bad thing for Man City, and that's Ryan Shecky. He's one of
Yeah.
those maverick, free-spirited players like Eden Hazard. Get the ball, dribble past two, three, four players, either take a shot, set up players, and all that. And normally you would think that yes, that's the kind of player Guardiola likes, or that would like. And of course, he had Messi under him and all that. But in recent times, you've seen how Pep has done what he's done to some players, where he has taken away that their free spirit to just hold the ball and dribble however they like and create opportunities. He did that with Jack Grealish. Jack Grealish is going to Everton. Apparently, they're having discussions in Man City and Everton as to sign Jack Grealish. I would like to get your opinion on that later after this bit now. But so do you think that's going to be a problem? You know, having Ryan Sheki, though he's an exciting talent, but do you think at this point in time Pep is willing to let the shackles off and let people like and Doku, Sheki, let them free, or how do you say this is a problem? This is not a problem, or what do you say? Charles, let's start with you.
Oh, sorry. All right. The problem most coaches have is they always think that they can change players, put
Mhm.
them in different roles, and expect them to perform. When you sign a player, you know this is what he plays, and you allow him to play that role. You see that player excel. Okay, take for instance Hazard when he came to Chelsea. Yes, a good dribbler, but he couldn't score goals. He was not scoring. I remember Mourinho was the coach of Chelsea
Mhm.
about that time. He met Eden Hazard. I know there was a conversation. He said, "This your dribbles, convert it to goals." He pushed him until the Hazard left Chelsea for Madrid. He was banging in goals. He didn't change him from that winger or to say I go and play deep midfield or go and do
Mhm.
this or go and do that. Kept him in that role, instructed him on how to be a better player in that. Now you are looking at Jack Grealish before he came to from West Ham, before he came to Man City. He
Mhm.
was doing well. He was more of a turn on wing backs or right back or left back, whatever. There he was a turn on their flesh. came to Man City, he couldn't replicate that form. Why? Because of this so-called instruction. So I believe if the coaches let these players play to their full potential, they won't have this difficulty.
I think someone in the chat has asked question, not rather just Manchester United. So Manchester United, what do you think they can even achieve this season? Like Manchester United, Frank, what do you think they can achieve this season? Can they get into top four or maybe Conference League for them?
I I don't think they would perform as they did last season, so that wouldn't happen this season. So far, they've actually done good business because they've brought in proven players in the Premier League. So they've got Cunha, they've got Mbuemo, and if you're talking of player with a high ceiling, you could say Sesko will deliver because he is very athletic. He's strong. He's tall, so he scores all kinds of goals. Last season against Bayern Munich, I was watching the game where they passed the ball. The goalkeeper was out of the post, and he had to take that one time, and he used the outside of his foot. You know, it takes confidence to do that. Most strikers would trap the ball, control it, and want to finesse it in. But he took it one time. It was a fantastic goal. So I think they have the players that would be able to perform consistently. Now, it will be naive to think that they will be fighting for the league this season. But what they've got are players that are ready to play for the managers, and they're trying as hard as possible to get rid of the ones that doesn't fit into his gameplay and culture. So which they've started. Rashford is gone. Garnacho will probably go. There's talk with Sancho and Juventus, and Anthony is waiting on Real Betis, and so you've got a lot of attacking players there. One thing I would say though, it's their defensive players. They don't seem to gel properly, and they seem to be a bit slow. So I don't know how the balance of the team, like I said, in midfield would be. So in some games, I'm not sure how the setup would be. But overall, I would say fifth or sixth position sounds achievable. But that's my take on it. But maybe they might sign more. You never know. But
Never know because they have a lot of money. But Manchester United fans, forgive me or don't, but I have to say this about Manchester United because I think it's going to be a tough season for them. Let's see when the window closes, it would have signed. But if you want to play 3-4-3, you want to play any formation that leaves you with two in the midfield. No matter what you're playing these three at the back thing, and you need to have two midfielders. Those midfielders, they are a 6, they are an 8, they are a 10. They go two-way. They should have a enormous tank, so they go two-way. So Casemiro, if he does that for 2 minutes, he's dead. He'll be shipped off. Bruno Fernandes, quality on the ball, but he can't survive that. You want to play that 3-4-3 to its maximum full potential and really play it well. You need tanks in that midfield. And right now, Manchester United, they don't even have a VW Beatles in that midfield when it comes to energy to go two ways. So I think that's an area again. And then when you're talking about these three at the back thing as well, those center backs, the two, the right side center back, the left side center back, they have to be very mobile because they're sort of like they are the fullbacks in that formation because the wing backs are wingers, so to speak. Wingers are defend. So those left center back, right center back, they're kind of like the fullback of the formation. So if you still have players that are slow, and I think that would be tough. And again, back to the young manager problem. If this was a Ferguson, if this was Mourinho, those older managers, they look, this is my philosophy isn't quite working. I'll tweak it a bit so that the players in here can survive. But with these modern managers, my philosophy, and we saw what Amorim did, last season. He refused to change anything. He said, "I will stick with this my three at the back formation. I don't care if it fits the players in the team or not." So I feel going with that into the season, I think Dogu, of course, Dogu will try, Ahmad will try. So Dogu, I think, will play left side. Ahmad will play the right wing back. But those two centre backs on either side, maybe what his name is, Euro, is it Lenny Euro?
Yeah.
On one side, I think he will be a bit quicker. Delict is obviously as fast as a pregnant elephant. So I know, Frank. Okay, go ahead.
So I have 2 points to make on what you've said, Manu. So Manu, they have the unfortunate luxury, I'll put it that way, of not playing in the Champions League or any midweek game. So that would help them in the Premier League.
Sure.
From Amorim's perspective, I can understand why he was stubborn and adamant to change his formation when it wasn't working, because that would send a message to the board to say, these players I've got, they are not good enough to do what I want.
Okay.
And that would mean that they need to sign players to fit into his system. From a coach perspective, with the modern day coach, the 3-4-3 is how he made his name. Yes, and he wants to stick to that. I personally, I like a coach that is flexible and can change formation when it's not working. So I believe this season would be a true test of his coaching abilities on how he'll be able to use these players in the way he would like to play. And not just the formation, but for them performing. So we would see their defensive midfielders. I don't think they got the pace.
I think those ones needs to go.
Yeah, they've not got the pace, but it will be interesting to see how they balance it out. But I think I'll hand over to Charles because he's not spoken on the Manu.
So Charles, Man U, what do you think? Have a chance to go back to glory days, win treble, or where do you see them finishing this season?
Not at all. Man U is not going to challenge for the trophy, and they might improve on their position of last season because, rightly as Frank has said, what they have done so far is to upgrade their attack line. But midfield wise, defensive wise, no improvement. So, my own opinion. Okay, look at Onana. Look at Onana.
Onana.
I believe
What's my name?
It's good. He's still going to be number one this season. And with all the blunders of last season, imagine what is going to happen if they are under pressure. You just imagine what's going to happen. Man U, seriously, they've not actually done the kind of business I expect them to do. Looking at their position of last season, the keeper was talking about players playing for the coach. The problem is they have aged players, slow players, compared to the speed of the Premier League. In the midfield, okay, you have people like Casemiro. You know that guy is good, but he's past his prime. He's gone. He should just relax. Come in for experience. When there's too much pressure, he comes in. He takes how the player should play. He shouldn't be like the main man. But these are the persons you see when the season starts. First 11 players, that if there's pressure, there's quick players. They will concede fouls, yellow card, red card, because they cannot keep up with the pace. So I don't expect much from Man U, sincerely speaking. What Chelsea, they have done the business in transfer market. To see them progress from where they were. See Liverpool, they are number one. They are buying more players to keep themselves where they are. If there's a want to see the improve beyond number one, that's what Liverpool have done.
Mm-hmm.
Arsenal took notice of what the issue was last season. They have gone ahead to get a striker to cover up the lapses. Some players have left. They have gone out to
Yeah, frozen. Frozen. So, okay. Charles, when you come back.
Are there any more? I've not been looking at the charts. Is there any question from
Yeah,
anyone?
so I think Taylor made, I think it should be a Liverpool fan, say Bilbao only scored off set pieces. I think Liverpool played against Bilbao, but we'll come to that. But about Manchester United, I know they have a lot of money. I just feel like they're still making the same mistake in terms of mismanaging funds. You know, you
Yeah,
want to say something?
no, I was just going to make a point about Bilbao only scoring from set piece, which was what I said when we played AC Milan.
Mm-hmm.
You could see that we were leaving too many gaps when we were going forward, and Slots the post match wasn't happy with that defense setup,
Yeah.
and he corrected that in the next game when we played. In the next game was Yokohama, I believe the team. You could see the changes, but definitely in the Bilbao game, it was a different defensive setup. You could see the players had better understanding. So yes, I would agree with what the Taylor said. So it's I think it's just finding that balance, on when to attack and when to sit deep. But in football, like they say, the best form of defense is attack. So yeah. Or you were saying something about United
I just feel like
management.
I think they're making the same mistake. They're signing a set goal just like Hoyland. Hoyland scored 8 goals and they rushed in and paid 75 million euros for him. I think there are other areas that you would have kept Hoyland. I know Manchester United fans don't want to hear this. Kept Hoyland and signed the key area like that midfield. Get you a centre back that's actually mobile and can play in that three at the back row. You know, instead of maybe like after all, it's Manchester United, so they have a lot of money, so they could still sign Sesko and go on and splash the cash and sign, the sort of centre backs and midfielder. I think this system requires because if you have a manager, if you had a flexible manager, then you say okay, he will find a way to do it. But if you have a manager like Amorim that has said that he will stick to the style he wants to play, then if you don't get those, like I said, those tanks, if you don't get those tanks in the midfield, you're going to struggle with this formation because you just have those two because everybody is pushing forward. Wing backs are gone. Those two tens, so possibly the Cunha and the Buemo, they're up there. The striker is up there. So those midfielders in that middle, they attack, they defend, they do a lot of work. So if you still leave Casemiro, Bruno Fernandes, and what's his face, Mason Mount, you leave Mason Mount there, are really going to struggle, I think, and they'll be eating their lunch will be eaten if that's the option Manchester United go with. But like I said, they have money. But I want to
Yeah,
let's go
what I
somewhere.
would say
Go on.
with that is that the problem of United would not be solved in one transfer window.
Mhm.
And they definitely need a striker because the current attackers are not scoring enough goals.
Okay.
And you could argue that should they have gone for a proven goal scorer in the short term,
Mhm.
before finding players like Sheshko to buy.
You go.
But the problem is there's a limited pool of attackers at the moment,
Mhm.
and that has forced the price to be high. So Sesko has a high ceiling, and everyone believes he would be one to watch for the future. And if he continues improving year in year out, then he will definitely be one to watch. He's a very young player, so if he adapts into the Premier League and plays well, then he has a long future. Another thing with Manu, I know people say that they spend too much on Cunha and
Mhm.
Buemo, but now it's just the way the transfer market is. You can't get good players for cheap. Man U don't have the Champions League, so what they would end up doing is paying more in the players' wages to
Wait.
be able to draw the talent in, because they have no option at this point than to do that and rebuild. They need to focus on rebuilding the team this season and see how many players they could bring in before the end of the window and strengthen from there. So um, there's a potential that might bring in a midfielder or two, but um, the way they've been moving in the market, they spent about 2 weeks on signing the guy from Brentford, back and forth, back and forth. So it's not long to go. So if they want to sign more players, then after the Shesko deal, if it is to be believed he's going to United, then they need to ensure that they sign more players.
I know for the Sesco deal, I think Fabrizio Romano has tweeted sometime ago say Benjamin Sesko has reached total agreement with Manchester United on personal terms contract until June 2030. Sesko wants
Okay,
to join Manchester United. So I think it's now for the team, for the club size to agree, on the price.
I
Now, I
see.
want to
Okay.
ask you about I wouldn't say Premier League rivals, but your rivals, your city rivals.
Yes.
Because I noticed this even when Sean Dyche was the coach of Everton. I noticed this because I think the sort of signings they're making now, I don't know if I'm putting David Moyes in the box, but the kind of signings they're making now, I'm scratching my head saying, is this sort of signings that David Moyes usually makes? Like Adam Asnu, a Bayern Munich, a fullback, a very attack-minded fullback, and then Tieno Barry, attacker, of course, in number 9. And then there's talk of Jack Grealish. They want to get him on loan from Man City. So we all know Jack Grealish, attack minded. So first, I want to ask: do you think this is a David Moyes signing, learning old tricks at an old age, or you think this is more of the club doing a kind of Chelsea style of we sign the players that we want to sign. If you can coach them, you coach them. If you can't coach them, you buzz off and we get someone else.
I think the players they've signed so far, they are good players and they've got potential, and they've just they're going to move into their new stadium,
Mm-hmm.
and I think it's a case of buying young prospects and developing them, because they wouldn't get the top stars because the bigger teams will be there with
Mm-hmm.
bigger pay package. So while the players he's signing, they are not a typical David Moyes type of player, but they are quality additions to the team.
Mm-hmm.
And um, there was an interview David Moyes did recently, and he was saying he was expecting to sign about 9 or 10 players or something along those lines. But obviously, it's not happened. So
Yeah,
it feels like he is expecting more
more
from
signing.
the recruitment, from more signings. But yes, the signings they've made are good. I know they've gone for the Southampton player Diblin.
Diblin. Yeah.
Yeah, and
So that's the questions I'm asking because Tyler Diblin doesn't defend.
yeah, so he is a good player, but I think Southampton might be asking for a bit too much for
Yeah.
his player. He's got potential, but I think the Everton fee is fair. But I haven't been paying particular attention to the names that have been associated with Everton in the transfer window, to be honest. But
Yeah.
um, they've done decent business, but not any name that would make me think, oh, this
Yeah.
is a big team. Regarding the Jack Grealish signing, I think it's going to be a loan deal. It might be a complicated one because of how much Jack Grealish earns.
Mm-hmm.
It might be one that would not happen swiftly. There might be a lot of back and forth, but Jack Grealish needs to play regularly if he needs to, if he's thinking of playing in the World Cup, because he's definitely not going to be in the World Cup squad if he's just on the bench in Man City. So he needs to definitely be in a playing team, and it looks like Everton might be a way out. I'm not sure where he's going to play though in the Everton team.
Yeah,
If he will,
I'm not
if
sure.
he'll
So I
play
want to pose
the
this question to
midfield.
Charles now.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
when I look at, I think they have Ndaye, who's their 10. I think he's even the way he's played is really been impressive. Attack minded, dribbles, forces the play. And I look at him and say, I think was the one that was signed under Sean Dyche, and I was like, is this guy a Sean Dyche type of player? It doesn't seem to me to be that type. And now they want to go for Jack Grealish, and then they were already going for Tyler Diblin. So if you're getting this sort of three players that don't really like to defend, Tyler Diblin doesn't defend, and as Southampton, it was the big boss. They give him the ball at the midpoint of the of the field. He takes attacking thought, takes the ball and goes, and he's a special player, but needs experience and all that. So let's say they get all their signings, these three sign. Okay, Ndai is already in the building, so we're not talking about signing Ndai. He's there already. So you have Ndai, you have Tyler Diblin, you now get Jack Grealish. So Charles, do you feel like this is an a club signing? These are club signings or David Moyes signings? Because we know David Moyes from first time at Everton, at West Ham. He's not really the most attack-minded coach. Of course, you hit on the counter, but he's not the most attack-crazy coach. And you're having three players that don't really love to defend. And Jack Grealish, you're signing him at Everton, he must play. And Tyler Diblin, if you're going to spend 40 odd million pounds on him, you must find a way to play him. So, do you think it's a club signing, or do you think David Moyes is changing in his old age?
Okay, I think it's the more signing. But what I see with these managers this period is they tend to have options, alternatives.
Mm-hmm.
Like the other day, I was watching Arsenal train. They tend to play the ball from the back to the striker, instead of passing the ball down. And sometimes it becomes difficult. Change your pattern. Don't be predictable. You know that people know you always pass the ball like Arsenal. They won't shoot. They will pass the ball to block them. They will not go anywhere. They won't do anything.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm thinking these coaches are trying to have alternatives.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm thinking. I think it's
Okay.
signing.
Okay.
Whatever I don't think they do that club signing thing. You work with their managers. Say, this, what do you want?
No,
How do you
because
want to
why I
operate?
ask this question, it's not even David Moyes is one that made me look at it again. But Sean Dyche, we know Sean Dyche with his 4-4-2, tough men at the back, Ben Mee, Ashley Barnes, all these tough players. Not really the most, not really players that have that much flair, but tough, hardworking players, honest players on the pitch. And then he went to Everton. When he went to Everton, they started signing all these players. Like, Sean Dyche, how you going to manage these players? And then David Moyes again. So maybe you guys are right. They need to get different options, and let's see, how that shakes down. Maybe what they're looking for is they want some excitement since they're moving into their new stadium. They want to get some exciting play going forward. It'll be nice for me to see. And it will be a bit interesting for me to see Tyler Dablin and Daye and what they call the other guy, Jack Grealish all start maybe 4-2-3-1. That would be a strange one for me to see David Moyes do. Now, from prediction time, top four prediction. Top four prediction. Who are you guys having? Top four. So I'll go with Charles first. The top four prediction. Let me know, who are you having?
All right.
Who's winning the league? And then who are the other teams that are filling the Champions League spots?
All right. First, I will tell you that I'll call Arsenal.
Mm-hmm.
Then I'll talk about Liverpool.
Okay.
I'm seeing a Chelsea and a Man City. These
Okay.
four teams will
So
make the top
Arsenal
four.
winning the league.
Yeah.
From what you say, Arsenal will win the
Yes,
league.
Arsenal winning the league.
So if Arsenal doesn't win the league, that's a failure. That's what you're saying, right?
Of course.
Okay.
If Arteta doesn't win the league this season, he has failed.
Okay.
because he has enough time. He has done everything. And this season they give. He has everything. All the arsenal he needs to win the league. He has everything. So if he doesn't win the league this season, then he has failed.
Okay. So, Frank, your time. Who are you predicting
Well,
your top four?
it, it's a very obvious one.
Of course, I know.
Liverpool
Okay.
winning the league,
Mm-hmm.
Arsenal second,
Okay.
Man City third,
Okay.
and Chelsea fourth.
Oh, all right. Fourth. Okay. For me, it pains me because I always like to be competitive and be at the edge of competing for titles, but it is what it is. The club goes for young players, and with young players, you get inconsistency. You need time for them to get to that point. So I'll say possibly because of how Liverpool have stacked up. It's funny. I'll say the way Liverpool have stacked up, they have to win the league. If they don't win the league, it's a disaster. Absolute disaster. If Liverpool, this league, if Liverpool doesn't win it,
What of
disastrous.
Arsenal? Is it not
Even
a
if
disaster
you
if
go on
Arsenal
and
don't win
win
it?
the two domestic cups and win Champions League. Anyway, so I'll go with Liverpool, number one, Arsenal. So that means in my mind, I think that should be sacked if he doesn't win it. He should be sacked if he doesn't win it because, in fact, I have something to say about Arsenal. Let me finish with this. Then, third, Chelsea should be in third spot, and Man City, if and Man should be in fourth. Now, what I want to say about Arsenal is this: when Arsenal were going, would I even say to, but they were in the race with Man City, it was like, and there was talk of maybe Guardiola dropping off after that season, maybe having going on a sabbatical for 1 year or leaving Man City or something. But he was going to leave. That was the talk. Arsenal fans, a lot of Arsenal fans were like, Man City, they're owned by a state, they have so much money, the best coach in the world, their manager, they're so dominant. The moment Man City falls off, when Guardiola leaves, Arsenal will jump in there and they will become the dominant force. Now, the best coach in the world did not go anywhere. A new coach, because Premier League fans like to be uppity about things, like to raise their noses up at other leagues. Farmers League, we call PSG Farmers League, call French League Farmers League, we call the what's it called? Dutch League Farmers League. And then a coach from that Farmers League came in with the best coach in the world, dropped off, and he came in and won the league while Arsenal was there. So for me, I feel like is this 7 years now? That is it 7 years, right? Is it 7 years or 6 years that Arteta has been Arsenal
Six, I
manager?
think.
6 years. So for me, I think if he doesn't win now, he should go. Not because he's a bad manager, but I think at some point, what you tell the players is no longer computing. You no longer you no longer have that ability to motivate them, to inspire them to push further. So I think if he doesn't win this, or if it just happens, one miracle, Enzo Maresca, watch, just win title. He just fucking then I'm back to Spain and not allow him come out. So for me, I think Liverpool, because they've signed this mega super team, they just have to win the league. If they don't. I don't know Slot. Even what he's done last, I think what happened to Lampard should happen to him because Lampard finished Champions League spots with Chelsea, despite the fact that there was a transfer ban. He used a lot of academy players, and then next season, Abramovich said, "Let me reward you. You tried. You've taken this team Champions League spots. Let me open the purse strings. Give you one of the best strikers in Bundesliga at that time in Timo Werner. Give him one of the best young tens in the world in Kai Havertz at that time, and then everything just went just went down. So Slot, they've given you reward. Oh, you've come in, you've won the league. Now we're giving you this reward, even more resources. So if you don't win the league, no, back to Amsterdam, back to Amsterdam, and then maybe Ajax, coaching Ajax. So But there's still the top four predictions. We have it on record. You have Arsenal winning the league. You have Liverpool winning the league, and you have Man City in third. You have Chelsea in third, Man City in fourth. So let's see how that all shakes out. So I think we've done all the match predictions so far, all the predictions so far, and then also want to ask this question about your clubs. Is there any area you still think needs a new signing, or you're all done? Your team is set to go for next season, for the start of the season.
Frank should start.
I think we definitely need to sign a center back, another center back.
Okay.
We've had a long interest in this transfer window with Mark
Okay.
Gui, and I believe from reports yesterday that they've rejected the second bid.
Okay.
But we are not willing to pay them the money because he's got 1 year left in his contract. If we don't sign Mark Cahill, we definitely need to bring someone else because at the moment we are short in that position. We've sold Kwanzaa. He didn't quite live up to the expectation, but I think playing in Bayern Leverkusen, he would be able to improve. So if we have any injury to Van Dijk or uh, Kunate, then we would be short in that area. Obviously, we have some players that could play there, like Hendo. You could actually play Gravenberch there, but that's not their natural position. And we have young academy boys in the bench, but they are still learning the trade. Joe Gomez is hardly fit, so you can't really rely on him. So we definitely need a center back. I believe we will get one. The focus have been on Isak, because we've been waiting for Newcastle, monitoring what they're doing, and waiting for them to open the door before we go in for a second bid. But they've been unfortunate with signing any striker, so we'll just wait. But we are definitely getting a centre back. It might not be Maguire. I want it to be him, but we're definitely getting someone in. So centre back for me, that is all we need, and a striker. So if we sign Isak, then
Another
just a
striker.
center. No, no. If we sign Isak, then just a center back. But if we don't sign Isak, we need to bring in another striker because the news earlier today is that Nunes is going to Saudi Arabia. So we are definitely short in that department. So which gives me more confidence that we'll definitely go again for Isak. We'll push again for him because we can't just have one natural nine all season. It wouldn't work. So those are the two positions, but we will see how it goes.
Okay. So Charles, your team.
Yeah. Yes, for Arsenal, I think I am not satisfied with the players on the left flank.
Mhm.
That's
You are
where
greedy,
I'm not.
Charles. You sign.
Yeah, yes, but despite the
Yeah.
signing, still thinking that the left flank have not actually performed. The
Mhm.
right, we are good. We've got the centre back, centre forward, good. But we still have a problem with Martinelli and Trossard, given the effect the Saka alone gives on the right flank. We have serious issues there. And that's why we are over laboring Saka.
Mhm.
Because all the balls now, they want to push it to Saka to do something. If the left flank operates very well, they will keep him as a surprise. I remember Messi of Barcelona. Sometimes they just pretend as if it does not exist. Next thing you just see, he gets the ball. So you turn your attention to him, he's killing everybody. As you come, he clears it on the way. That's what. But if you keep players on him, it will be difficult for him to play. Before what's happening is injured. That's what happened. You remember very well when he came on earlier, 2006, 2007, he was having these injury issues because that team was not there. Like
Much pressure on him.
the pressure was on him. They always putting the players were always on him. But when Iniesta, Xavi stepped up their game, they removed the pressure from Messi.
Mhm.
If you are going to mark Messi, you know very well that Xavi will do something, Iniesta will just finish the game off. So you are always on your toes, watching
But I
the
have two
players.
solutions. I have two solutions for Arsenal. I have two solutions for you for Arsenal. People
Yeah, I
should
think I
thank
will
me.
hear you.
Two
Go ahead.
solutions. One, you have this guy that's produced more than every left winger you have on your books, and his club doesn't want to sell him to a Serie A club. You know, Inter Milan that is interested in him, they don't want to meet the valuation of 50 million euros of his club. But he's there. He scored 18. He scored 18 goals the previous season. This season he scored 15 goals. So Ademola Lookman. So why are you guys not going in for him? And of course,
How,
the Chelsea Arsenal legend that is Man City player, former Man City player, treble, is it treble winner? Not treble winner, but he's won the title back to back to back with Man City. Raheem Sterling. He already knows everything about Arsenal. He knows all the looks and crannies of Arsenal.
it should remain at Chelsea. He should remain there. For Ademola Lookman, if
Mm.
I was part of Arsenal setup, the scouting team or something, I wouldn't have thought about that deal twice because look at him. He has proven himself as a left winger. He has done it season to season with
Mm-hmm.
Atalanta. He has done it with Super Eagles. He's a very important player. I don't know why it's like that, like this. I mean to say with him on the transfer market,
Yeah.
with the issues Arsenal have, I don't think. See, it's an upgrade compared comparing Martinelli and Trossard. It's an upgrade to those players. He gives you, he cuts in. He's a problem to the defenders. He's a turn on their
And he's
flesh.
played in the league. He's played in the Premier League, so you know what he can
Yes,
do.
yes,
Yeah.
yes. He has played. These are things that we should. I don't know. Seriously, I don't know why it's like that for him. I don't think
Yeah.
we should be
I don't, I
wasting
don't,
our
I
time.
don't,
I don't know.
I
I'm
don't
telling
even
you.
understand myself because you look at someone like Ademola Lookman, is it 44,000 euros
Just
a
imagine that.
week, and it just fits into the so-called Chelsea structure and all that. And rather than that, they're going for Garnacho, but I don't want to. I don't want to talk about Garnacho, or else this show will not end because I have my not so favorable feelings about Garnacho joining Chelsea. But they have it. For me, I think what Chelsea needs is a centre back. Chalobah is not consistent enough. Chalobah is one of those people that can give you moments and say, "Wow, this boy is good." But when you say, "Give me those performances back to back to back to back to back," over over a 38 game season, then it becomes a challenge. So I think, and then the Mamadou Sarr they signed, they've loaned him back to Strasbourg. Tosin, I don't know why they don't have faith in Tosin, 6'5". I think he's a very good defender, but I don't know. Coaches always have their preferences as to who they want to play, who they don't want to play. So for me, I think that's the one area I think Chelsea still needs players. The central midfield area is stacked. You have like four players competing for two roles. Fullback is taken care of. Hato and Cucurella on one side. You have Rich James and Gusto on one side. Maybe the 10. Maybe you need that 10, and that's Javi Simmons if that deal is done. Because I know Maresca loves Palmer. Even if Palmer is playing with a walking stick, he will play him. He won't bench him. But going to the Champions League, you know, playing Champions League football, which means there's no game you can take for granted. When you are playing the Conference League, you could take some games in that Conference League for granted, and then Palmer will not even play there. But now, when you're playing Champions League football and you want to go for the Premier League and play in Premier League and finish in a respectable position, then you need to get at least two players in each position. So for me, I think if Javi Simmons is done, then that is sorted out, and need a centre back. That's my thoughts on it. So please, everyone, still stay on. But at this point, we've come to the end of the stream. Thanks everyone for watching, and hope you subscribe if you're new. Share this video to people you feel will love this sort of content as well. We thank everyone for watching, and I'll see you on yet another video. Stay well, stay blessed.